Star Trek, the ultimate franchise. These are the voyages of 3 veteran Trekkies, Rich, Ian, and Toby. Their ongoing mission? To explore the vast Star Trek universe, to seek out new perspectives and fresh debates, to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. Beyond the Final Frontier.
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Final Frontier, a Star Trek podcast with me, your host, Rich Matthews, and my fellow Trekkers, Mr. Ian Spelling.
Hello, everybody.
And Mr. Toby Weidman.
Hello.
This episode, we've got a biggie. So we'll try to keep it relatively containable for your listening pleasure. So we're going to be ranking our top 7 favourite seasons of Star Trek. So that's across all versions from the original series right through to all the new Trek series, and which ones really matter to us. I don't know about you two, but I ended up having to be quite scientific about this, where I totted up the number of episodes I like, worked out the percentage that represented, and then had an order.
I wasn't quite so mathematical. I just did it on instinct based on my favorite shows, my favorite episodes, my favorite characters. And
I tried that. And I just was lost, but it made it interesting. It changed the results, definitely, which was interesting. But
my top 2 didn't change. The orders of the others swapped out a little bit.
But. Interesting. Well, in which case, on that note, unusually, I will name a couple of runners-up before I give my number 7. So, my runners-up are Strange New Worlds Season 1. Because it was a breath of fresh air and was exciting and exhilarating, and it was good character development, and it was generally fun, and Star Trek was back. And then Enterprise Season 4 is the other runners up, honourable mention.
Yeah, that was in my initial list, and then I decided to cut it out.
Yeah, that was the reality of it. It was in my list, but actually when I got scientific, it fell away quite quickly. But I didn't want to completely abandon it. Because it is noteworthy, but perhaps in reality now more for what could have come than what actually was there, and it's let down by that terrible finale.
Yeah, what was interesting is I realised that I hadn't seen all of Season 4.
Really?
Yeah, because when I left Star Trek, Season 4 was just starting.
Oh, right.
And I kind of I think I went through a phase of just not watching.
Yeah.
Because I'd been too close to it. I'd watched quite a few of them, but then more recently, before we started the pod, it was sort of in preparation for the pod, I thought, I better go back and watch Season 4. And I realised that I hadn't seen every episode. And I did really enjoy it. So that's why it was close to being on my list.
Yeah, it's by far
in there.
It's the only season which is close to getting on, basically, for me. So my number 7... and I don't know if Ian might agree to some extent. I don't think you will, Ted. But wholeheartedly
is it Discovery Season 1? Sorry, starting off negative. Sorry,
man. If you ever meet anyone from Discovery, I just lovely people, as Ian has told us many times.
Yeah, I've always said nothing to do with the actors.
Yeah. My number 7. Is Picard Season 3. I've watched this, the whole season, a good half dozen times. It's the only one which falls outside of my scientific method. The others are all done by this percentage system. This was the one where I was like, no, I really liked this. It was out of the blue part of it. In fact, I didn't like Season 1, and I really didn't like Season 2. And because we knew the Next Generation crew was back, I was worried it'd be very bad fan service and it wouldn't be very good. But revealingly, the episode Nepenthe was sort of a hint of what could actually be, and it was. And if I must have a season of continuous storytelling, of one storytelling, this is by far the best. Now, it's not the best long-running arc because Deep Space Nine did that a lot better, but there was always ebb and flows and step-aways. Whereas this is one story from beginning to end, and while it's a bit baggy and it's a bit flabby, it was ultimately a joy, and I loved it. So that's why it's my number 7.
Explain the difference between baggy and flabby for me.
Interesting. Baggy in the sense that it's probably the same thing. Okay, you've called me out on a tautology.
I've never heard the word baggy. It's got to be a British thing. Does it mean flabby?
No. So baggy clothes. Baggy.
Extraneous,
ill-fitting. So you don't need it to be that big. And so a bit. So
flabby, I guess, means bloated.
Yeah.
Well, baggy I've heard obviously in context of clothes, but never. Star Trek. So.
Yeah. So baggy. It's baggy is nicer than flabby, but it's a bit of both.
Well, if you're flabby and you lose weight, then your clothes get baggy.
Also, if you're flabby, you might buy baggy clothes to try and hide your flab.
This is true.
So it does go. I've certainly done
I
that.
suggest we cut the past 45 seconds, but go on.
No, I don't know. Do you think it's flabby or baggy, those 45 seconds?
Yes.
So yeah, Picard
Excess.
Season 3, my number 7.
My number 7 is Enterprise Season 4.
There you go.
It is, yeah. I have to say, to your point, I enjoyed it as episodes unto itself. You had the trio of episodes, Babel 1, United, the Anar, In a Mirror Darkly, Terror Prime, which I had mentioned before, in a previous pod. I just think it was a very strong season unto itself, and I think it showed the promise that the show had if they were going to go forward. I don't hold These Are the Voyages against season 4 as much as other people do, for one reason. That was tacked on at the end. It wasn't what was going to be representative of the show going forward if they had a 5th season. So I understand. I hate the episode as much as anybody else, but I don't hold it against the other episodes in the season because it is a little bit of an outlier in terms of the show and the season. So, yeah, Enterprise Season 4. Good episodes, good acting.
And marked step up.
Yeah, overall, a really good, and like you, Toby, a lot of people missed out on good stuff because they abandoned the show for whatever reason by the time Season 4 and Manny Kodo had come to the fore. So.
I think it became the series that season represents. It became the series that I think we wanted Enterprise maybe to be.
It was.
Yeah. Again, though, I will argue that, we discussed this, pilots, the first episode of Enterprise, was fabulous. And if that was the show from the get-go, it would have been great for, all 4 seasons.
Yeah, agreed. A missed opportunity.
Yep.
My 7th spot, and I'm well aware that there might be some recency bias in this, but it's season 2 of Strange New Worlds, which
cool.
I finished relatively recently. I found it just really engaging. There were fun episodes in there, charades, those old scientists, the Lower Decks crossover. It's got some really potent episodes. Under the Cloak of War, so I think it's a great Mbenga story. The Hegemony, the season finale, I think is a strong finale.
It is.
There's some good character episodes. I think Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. More Lan stories, please. I really like that character. She's really, really grown on me, and it contains perhaps the best episode of modern Trek that I've seen to date, which is Ad Astra per Aspera.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a courtroom drama, but it feels like proper Trek. I really, really loved it. I think I messaged Rich immediately after seeing it, just saying, what an amazing episode. So yeah, said there might be.
I replied, "Just don't watch season 3."
There might be some like I said, there might be some recency bias, but I even forgive it the musical episode. I just think it's a.
I still like that. It's not as good as I remember first time. As I said on the rewatch for the comedy, it lost something, but I do like that. So
yeah, really started to like these characters. Season 1, I think, was a good setup, but season 2 is really built on it, and I said I it's so worrying to me that you both have sort of slighted season 3 because
Spock's so horny, baby.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed this, and it feels like Trek.
But season 4, there, hopefully it will rebound. We'll find out. So my number 6 is Voyager season 4. This was one of the ones which surprised me when I went through. Most of the Voyagers were the seasons were just outside the bracket of the 7, except for this one, which there are 15 episodes that I rate, and it's about 61%. So that's about 61% of the season is what that I thought were good or better. But obvious highlights are Scorpion Part 2, 7 and 9 in general, Year of Hell, both parts, Message in a Bottle, and I quite like the Hirogen stuff, which a lot of people don't sometimes, but I enjoy that element. And it's exciting, it's big, it does feel re-energized. Now with rewatched quite a lot because of when Nana Visitor suggests you do that. So I did to watch the reintroduction of 7, and she's absolutely right. There is a really interesting dynamic which bypassed my younger self slightly between Janeway and 7 in these early scenes, and that sort of that frisson between off camera, I think, helped actually. That sense of Janeway being involved and being wary of 7, and for understandable reasons, I think that came across, but it helps on screen, and it's just I think, though, now in retrospect, it's one of the things is I don't think any of the subsequent seasons are as good as this one on Voyager, and that was a bit of a shame because I always liked Voyager a lot more than a lot of people, because I wasn't a huge DS9 fan contemporaneously as it was airing, and this felt like it finally really hit it, and then every season after that somehow just didn't quite live up to this season.
The thing I find with Voyager, and Voyager's no season has made my list, but the thing that I just found it really inconsistent. I think the highs are really high, but then I think there are some very average episodes, and that always drags, as a season, it always drags them down for me.
Yeah, no, and this was the only one. This was, as I said, it surprised me when I went through and looked at the list of the episodes, and I'd rewatched about, I think, 12 episodes since Nana was on the pod, and it's better than I remember it. But the rest of it, smattering of things I went back into in the following seasons, it's still exactly that, which is Voyager's really bad. It has its moments, but it's rarely bad. It's just a little bland.
Yeah.
Which is a thing. So, Ian, you're number 6.
Picard season 3.
Woo!
This, we've discussed this. Not my favorite show, but definitely my favorite season of my not favorite show. Good episodes, really solid episodes. You've got The Bounty. You've got The Last Generation, which nailed it. I think we've discussed and agreed that Vox is actually the winner from that particular season. I thought Surrender was top-notch action. I really liked Amanda Plummer as Vadic. There's fan service in the fact that she's Christopher Plummer's daughter.
Yeah.
But separate that for a second. A really good villain.
Been a while.
I really liked the characterization. I love that she went there, Plummer, and that the character went there. It was kind of a little, scenery chewing over the top, but within the context of the show. I always thought that the show was also a little too staid, a little too laid back, and I thought she injected some genuine energy into it, as well as...
I wanted her to be the primary villain, though.
I know.
The Borg Queen, the Borg
but she brought the anger as well. And
And
while
like that, actually, is I forgot to mention Ro. That she does the same function. She always did, didn't she? When Michelle Forbes came in, she brought an energy and a feistiness to a propulsive element, and she did the same here.
Yeah.
Just when you thought, how is this? And then Ro comes in, and you're like, yes.
And it was good stuff. And there was a lot of the father-son stuff in there, and a lot of the Crusher Picard stuff in there that paid off nicely. I thought Gates McFadden had more to do. Again, we've discussed all of this within the context of characters and shows and episodes, but Gates was fabulous in season 3. I mean, I was surprised how much they gave her, because they'd never given the character or Gates that much before. No. And she was pretty much the emotional heartbeat of season 3 in many ways. For me, I was so thrilled for the character, for the next generation, for the fans, and for Gates. I just thought it was really, really good season.
Yeah,
fan service and all, by the way.
But good fan service. So when this comes
like
up,
you said this. I can't remember if it was earlier, another pod or today. But if you're gonna do fan service, do it right. Yeah. This was done right.
Yes, agreed.
My 6th spot, and I would be very shocked if either of you have picked this series, but it's season 2 of Lower Decks.
Not on my list.
No, not on my list.
I doesn't surprise me. I love Lower Decks, and I think this is the season where it really grabbed me. I enjoyed the first season, but I think this is the season where it sold it to me as a premise. It's got a cohesive running story with the Packleds as the villains, which I think is fantastic. As a masterstroke to use the Packleds as the main villain. Just funny concept in itself. It's just the writers were starting to understand the characters at this point and their interrelationships and the difference between the lower and upper decks, and also how to use comedy to tell a good story. There are some standout episodes. Wedge Dush, probably saying that wrong.
Don't worry, at the end will tell you off.
My Klingon is not his best. Crisis Point, the new Next Generation. It also has probably the best episode title of any Star Trek, which is "We'll Always Have Tom Paris." It just makes me laugh just thinking about it. But yeah, I love Lower Decks, and maybe season 4 is better in terms of like the episodes themselves, but this is the one that kind of stands out in my mind as the one that grabbed me and made me love the show.
Fully respect it, just not on my list.
Yeah, me the same. No Lower Decks even came close to my orbit on this. So there we go. But maybe it's because it's a comedy. I mean, it's probably not fair, but well then, straight in with my number 5. My number 5 is The Next Generation, season 4.
Ooh.
So of the 26 episodes in that season, I rated in some form as good or better 16 of them, which is 62% of the episode. So you've got Best of Both Worlds Part 2, you've got Family, Brothers, Remember Me, Future Imperfect, Data's Day, The Nth Degree, Cupid, The Drumhead, The Host, In Theory, Redemption. It's just like, this is Star Trek, just every week, great. Very few lulls. It was it's full-throated in its confidence and its storytelling and its character work, and there's so many. When you sort of review it and you start to realize how many good episodes there are in this season, and you're at that point in Next Gen, which more or less carries through to where basically you can be sure most weeks it was going to be good, and so a bad episode was like as opposed to where we ended up with Voyager and then to some degree Enterprise, whereas the good episodes were the rarer rather than the other way around. I don't really have much more to say about it. It's just that it obviously kicking off with the Best of Both Worlds Part 2 is a highlight. I'm, as I said before, I'm a fan of the Part 2. There's a lot of people aren't, but I love it. And then it's we've talked about Family recently, and that double whammy beginning of the season is just awesome. And then you you got to think, you got brothers straight away, and it's just like, great episode, and it's just fabulous all the way through. And then with episodes like The Nth Degree, which is how they actually managed to get such good ground out of Barclay in some ways is kind of remarkable. But it's great, and it's another interesting sci-fi idea, and Dwight is brilliant in that episode. And we talked about In Theory last episode in terms of potential tearjerker. That's there, and it's just it's a great season of Star Trek, and it's nearly my favourite Next Gen series season, but not quite. Ian.
Number 5, TOS Season 1. Got City on the Edge of Forever, Space Seed, Corbomite Maneuver, Devil in the Dark, Arena, Court Martial, This Side of Paradise. The show hit the ground running and never looked back until Season 3. But, the truth is that Season 1 of Star Trek is what got me into Star Trek. So also just from a personal end of the equation, Season 1 is important to me. And it set the stage for everything that came in terms of all of the other shows. Everything from the Prime Directive to the Enterprise to the relationships, the way it affected the movies. I mean, obviously, we all hate Into Darkness, but that's based on space. So it's all tied in there. Wrath of Khan, your favorite movie, is our favorite movie, is not happening without Season 1 of the original show.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, Season 1 is number 5.
I'm genuinely surprised. I thought you would have ranked that a lot higher.
Nope, because a different season of the original series is higher.
Which obviously then Season 2. Given you just did Season 3.
No comment.
If it's Season 3, there might be some repercussions.
Yeah, it's tied with Discovery Season 1.
Oh. Toby.
My fifth spot is also Next Gen. I was actually, when you said Season 4, I thought you were going to say this season, so I was kind of quite surprised. But it's Season 6. This very well could have been higher in my list. It's got some brilliant episodes, many of which we've praised in the past. Chain of Command, Base of the Enemy, Tapestry, Relics. I like to throw some others out there. Realm of Fear, Schisms, I really like. Rascals is a fun episode. Ship in a Bottle, I think, is fantastic. Lessons, Frame of Mind, Second Chances, and Descent Part 1, which is actually very good. It's Descent Part 2, which is sort of lets it down.
Yeah.
But it's a really good cliffhanger.
Common
episode.
Problem for Next Gen.
Next Gen, yeah. Well, yeah, when we do the 2-parter episodes, that'll be an interesting one to discuss, I think. But yeah, so Season 6, Next Gen.
Excellent. Well, this is my number 4, 5.
Fourth.
Yeah, thank you.
4 now.
Because with so many numbers on my thing, it's just a little bit like
Your statistic overload.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Oh crap! I should have thought displaying this differently on my screen. So my number 4 is Season 3 of The Next Generation, which had one more episode that I liked than season 4. But again, if I start rolling the list off, it's hard to deny it. Who Watches the Watchers, Booby Trap, The Enemy, The Defector, The High Ground, Deja Q, A Matter of Perspective, Yesterday's Enterprise, The Offspring, Sins of the Father, Tin Man, Hollow Pursuits, The Most Toys, Sarek. I even like Menage a Troy, Transfigurations, and The Best of Both Worlds. That's some of the best Star Trek ever. All of that. And it's
I'd rule Tin Man and Transfigurations out.
I'm
not a fan of those episodes.
I really like both of them, but Tin Man especially. I really like Tin Man. I always did like Tin Man.
Not a fan of that.
And it was one of my favourite effects. The entity ship thing. It was just, I loved it. It was a bit like a pine cone, but I did really like the way it was done. And it was also the first time they started using more sort of chiaroscuro in their effects. And it was this season in general where they started making the ship lighting a bit moodier in places, so the Enterprise started to look better.
What was that you said?
Chiaroscuro.
What does that mean?
It's the Italian word for black and white, light and shade. Use of hard shadow.
Okay, that's a new one on me.
And you worked for BAFTA.
I know.
For shame, Toby.
This is
Vide.
British, not Italian.
No, okay. Well, it's up there with mise en scène as a term for.
Well, I know mise en scène, but
not chiaroscuro. I'm sure Ian could put that in his little black book of big words.
Yes.
So yeah, it's also, so you've got Best of Both Worlds, which is one of my favourite episodes ever. You've got Yesterday's Enterprise, which is probably my single favourite episode of Star Trek. We've talked about Deja Q in the comedy episode. It's my favourite comedy episode. It's just rammed full of brilliant stuff, and I think really, if I'd not done my metrics, this was higher, because this was where I remember Next Gen just really kicking and just thinking, ooh, and this was the season where Star Trek. This became Star Trek, the dominant Star Trek in my head for a while then, if you see what I mean. Whereas, the films were still going, but this became the Star Trek. There was no need for comparison anymore. There was no need for caveats. This was it. So, yeah, great season. Ian?
We're on 4, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
4 is, for me, also season 3 of TNG.
Cool.
For all the reasons that you just referenced, actually. I really don't disagree with most of your choices there. The episodes that you liked. I happen to have a particular fondness for Who Watches the Watchers.
Yeah, love that.
That season, I think it's really good. What's really interesting in here is there are really, really good episodes. I didn't do your math, but yes, you have
desperate.
Well, you have a couple of the classics in this season, right? Yesterday's Enterprise, Offspring, and so on, Asaric, and Best of Both Worlds. But it's the other 20-something episodes that are really strong as well. I thought there were more clunkers before and after in some episodes. Masks comes to mind. I don't know that there's any true clunker in this season that we're talking about.
No,
and, Captain's Holiday is interesting. Sins of the Father, I thought was a really good episode. We're always focused on Yesterday's Enterprise and Offspring and Best of Both Worlds. But I think if I sat and did, crunched numbers and percentages for quality of each episode, this would actually rank. Going with my gut instinct would match your going with numbers for this season. So that's why it's 4 for me.
You like Captain's Holiday?
I do.
That's an absolute stinker.
I have a soft spot for it. I just find it.
He likes those trunks.
Moving on.
This is gonna hurt Ian, but my 4th spot is original series season 2.
Oh,
It does hurt. Cold-hearted bastard.
I think it starts very, very strong with the mock time and finishes well with Assignment Earth. Debate whether that's a Trek episode or not, but it's got some classic episodes in between, including some of my favourites: Mirror Mirror, Doomsday Machine, and Private Little War. We get Kirk and Spock in Nazi outfits. But yeah, I think there's some, outside of those favourites, there's some really strong episodes. I like Who Mourns for Adonis. I know a lot of people don't, but I like that one. The Changeling, Journey to Babel, Trouble with Tribbles, Piece of Action, which we spoke about, Patterns of Force, by any other name, The Ultimate Computer. There's just some very, very strong episodes in this series, but my placement is switched with Ian in terms of I rank season 3 higher. No, I rank season 1 higher.
Well, my metrics, I only had 9 episodes that I liked in season 2, which was a 35%, which is really low. But it's not as low as season 3, which I only liked 4 episodes of. So there you go. But because Ian, it's high on Ian, so Ian will keep his powder dry, and that turn of phrase he likes for that, I'm sure. The metrics pay off for my number 3 because it was something I wouldn't have intuitively put as high as this. So my number 3 is the original series season 1, because when I totted it up, it was 18 episodes, of which I really loved. And so I was like, so in a way I was heartened, because I was like, okay, so there you go. I'm not this callous original series hating person that my colleagues think I am. But, the man trap, Charlie X, Where No Man Has Gone Before, The Enemy Within, Dagger of the Mind, The Corbomite Maneuver, The Menagerie, two-parter, Balance of Terror, Shore Leave, Galileo 7, Squire of Gothos, Arena, Space Eats, This Side of Paradise, Errand of Mercy, City on the Edge of Forever, arguably the greatest episode of Star Trek ever made, and even Operation Annihilate. They're all kick-ass TV, and my feelings about.
I love Operation Annihilate.
Yeah,
I know it's not everyone's favourite, but
I do. That's actually, and going through it all, that's the first episode of the original series I remember. It wasn't when I watched it properly. I remember that scaring me when I was a kid, when I was very little. So that's actually my first memory of Star Trek, probably. But I mean, it's also to mirror a lot of what you said, Ian. None of the rest of it happens without this.
Right.
And it was refreshing for me to realise quite how much that held true. I don't have the same affection for the other two seasons, not even close. But this series, there are episodes in season 2 which are some of the best, undoubtedly. But as a mass, season 1 was just terrific. Really, and overcame a lot of my qualms and with the sets and the effects and things, and just the storytelling of the characters. Just, I was about to say beamed through, but that's a terrible Star Trek turn of phrase. So yeah, there you go. Number 3, original series, season 1.
Number 3 for me is Deep Space Nine season 5. Allow me to preface this by saying that as much as I love the original series and everything it stands for, as I always say, I try to get this into every pod that we do, Deep Space Nine is my favorite series.
Yeah. Is it? I didn't get that from you.
Yes, by far. So, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not. So, yeah. I'm just
definitely
playing it straight. Okay, wasn't sure. Deep Space Nine Season 5 is by far terrific. Better than some of the other things that we've been discussing. You got Call to Arms, Trials and Tribulations, The Begotten, Purgatory Shadow, Nor the Battle to the Strong, Looking for Parmok in all the wrong places. Great episode titles, great episodes, great acting, great cinematography on Deep Space Nine as always. And we devoted a lot of time not just to our main characters. I mean, Sisko, Odo, all of those got some love, but Garrick got really developed here. Jake got some love in this season. I just thought powerful stuff, and yeah, my choice, number 3.
My third spot is also Deep Space Nine, but it's season 6.
Oh.
So the season that follows, which I guess is interesting. For me, at the beginning of this season is just an absolute banger with the Dominion War full swing, the recapturing of Deep Space Nine, essentially like a 6-parter that runs from Time to Stand through Sacrifice of Angels. All the characters are just very comfortable in the actors are very comfortable in their characters, and the introduction of Worf is like fully settled. He just feels like absolutely integral to the show. It includes 2 of my absolute favourite Deep Space Nine episodes, which is Far Beyond the Stars and In the Pale Moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
I could throw quite a few other episodes at you. I won't go through all of them, but it's interesting to me that Deep Space Nine is my favourite series, but this is the only season that makes my
because you didn't
top
crunch
7.
any numbers, Tobes.
No, I was more emotional, which is
I find that
Yeah.
dehumanizing, crunching numbers.
No, so do I normally. It didn't say it's because I was so humanized. I was like, I don't know how to pick anything. So that's what happened. I literally reached rock bottom emotionally and then went to numbers.
You are a Vulcan. You just... you went all logical instead of with the heart. Come on.
It is the heart, though. That's the point, ultimately.
You green-blooded bastard.
He's had to make it like statistical.
Yeah, so my number 2 is The Next Generation Season 6. which ultimately, again, with seasons 4, 3, and 6 in the order I like them, we're talking an episode more. And then, interestingly, a big drop-off in season 7, which has some amazing episodes, but as you said, Ian, has some stinkers in it, more so. But some of the ones in season 6, tellingly, that a lot of people don't like, I still quite like The Chase. I find it interesting.
It's fine.
It's not a great episode, but I find it interesting. And I like Rascals. I think, Toby, you said you like Rascals.
Yeah, it's fun.
I like Frame of Mind.
That's a good episode.
I've seen a lot of people slagging that off now. They're interested in
Really?
fandom. Yeah, I don't know why. Whereas I've always really liked that.
No, me too.
But I also really like Time's Arrow Part 2.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people find that a bit too whimsical now.
I'm not a big fan of that one.
There you go.
Use your brilliant word. That's fine.
But you've got, Relics. Fistful of Datas is in there. Obviously, we've all spoken at length about the Chain of Command, but you've also got things like Starship Mine, which I've always really liked.
I like that one.
A simple, lean episode that really works.
It's definitely better than Captain's Holiday.
Fewer trunks. You just like saddle. Then we know where you go. Ian likes trunks. You like saddles. Whatever floats your boats, boys. Tapestry, of course. The interesting thing was that there was a dip for season 5 for me. So in the end, by quite a long way, 3, 4, and 6 were the next generation of seasons, which were by far the standouts. Even though I would argue that when you look at season 7, it's got some of the best episodes of the latter part of Next Gen, but just as inconsistent as hell. For all sorts of reasons, which we know probably wrapping it up, running out of ideas, running Deep Space Nine, all those things, sorts of reasons. So there you go. My number 2 is Next Generation Season 6.
My number 2, ladies and gentlemen, is Deep Space Nine Season 6. I just go gut instinct, Season 5, Season 6. It's funny, I have more episodes as personal favorites listed for Season 5 than I actually do for Season 6, but I just think Season 6 was stronger. I think we got into the whole Dominion element here super strongly. I think the characters were fully established, and now we were building on everything that we knew, or starting to bring things to an end for certain arcs within the characters' journeys. And then just in terms of episodes, Toby, I think it was you. In the Pale Moonlight, Far Beyond the Stars. Those are the 2 of the best episodes of any Star Trek ever.
I agree.
And so to have those overshadowing Walt's Sacrifice of Angels and Rocks and Shoals.
Spoils.
Yeah,
it's so much.
It's just too much good stuff to ignore or not to get as high as 2 on my list. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. And if I was going to sit right now, if you said to me, hey, I want you to sit down right now and watch one season of any Star Trek show, it would be Deep Space Nine Season 6.
Interesting. That's interesting.
And yet it's not your top spot.
It's not.
Interesting.
I think we know what his top spot is.
Well, yeah.
Well, I got to show some love to Discovery. Come on.
Picard Season 2 just knocks it out of the park.
Actually, it was a tie between Picard. Yeah.
Modern day LA stuff. Yeah, man.
My second spot, and it's very interesting what you said a moment ago, Rich, is Next Generation.
Rich said something interesting?
Oh, yeah.
Bitch.
It's Next Generation Season 5.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
wow.
Defend that.
This contains some of my
good title graphic.
Episodes.
Nice title graphic, I'll give you that.
It contains some of my favourite episodes of all of Star Trek, not just Next Gen. And even some of the weaker episodes, which I would highlight something like A Matter of Time, I like because of Matt Frewer, and I loved Max Headroom.
Yeah, me too.
When I was a kid, and so I was sort of obsessed with that when I was in my team. So to see him in Star Trek was a real thrill to me.
Do you like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as well then, do you?
I love Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just picking Matt Frewer references out of my head.
I'd forgotten he was in that.
Yeah.
It kicks off with a fantastic episode, Redemption Part 2. I love it. The resolution of the Klingon Civil War, I think that's fantastic. It introduced new characters like Rolaren. It brought back some old favourites with Sarek and Spock in Unification. And it built on the threat of the Borg with both the introduction of Hugh and Iborg, and then I'm highlighting some of the episodes: Darmok, Ensign Rowe, Disaster, Violations, Ethics, Cause and Effect, the First Duty.
Don't forget Picard's nice new jacket.
Yeah, absolutely. The Next Phase.
Disaster's good too.
The Inner Light, and Time's Arrow Part 1, which I really, really like. And then I was disappointed by Part 2.
That's the common narrative stuff.
Yeah, I know. What a surprise.
Where does power play fit in there?
For me, it's interesting what you were thinking. For me, this is sort of peak Next Gen. It's where they kind of perfected that whole political, moral dilemma storyline aspect. And I love season 5. So it's interesting that you don't. Well, not that you don't like it, but that they race lower.
You should be. I should be absolutely clear from season 1, actually technically halfway through season 2, really, to the end. Next Gen was just the bee's knees. It's just when you're getting this picky, and I'm not a huge fan of Redemption.
Oh God, that's one of my favorites.
No,
in general, or as an episode?
Oh, in general, everyone can just once you've done something bad, that's it for life. No, I don't know why. I've never understood quite why, but I think maybe it was because Best of Both Worlds was left with such an impression that it just didn't live up to that.
See, Redemption kicks Best of Both Worlds.
That's not even close
to the side for me.
No, one's a classic, one's an all-time bit of Star Trek, and the other one isn't for me. So,
well, one half is an all-time classic.
No, I love Part 2.
See, I don't. Well, I don't dislike it. It's just not.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think of it being of a very high standard season 5, but with fewer spikes for me. Same way I don't like Unification that much.
See, I really like Unification. I think when we discussed it, it came across as that I didn't like Unification. I do really like Unification, and as fan service as it is, I still think it's really. I love seeing the interaction between Picard and Data and Spock, and I love the first half with Sarek, and the resolution of that storyline is potent and powerful. It's not a tearjerker, but it's potent and powerful.
Callback. No, well, interesting. As I said, yeah, I mean, we're splitting hairs. If someone said, Rich, you now have to watch all of season 5 of Next Gen, I wouldn't be like, no, man. I'd be like, okay. But it's just, interesting. Very interesting. Right, so we're on our number ones. Now, I prefigured this last episode. I'm going to pull an Ian.
Got a tie?
No.
I have a tie.
You can't. No.
I am. No, I've earned it.
Not in this case.
I have. And
why not in this case? Wait, I'm going to I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to defend Rich here.
Do you know, for the listeners' purposes, Ian and I are good friends.
Are we? Are we though?
Yeah.
You sent
Really?
Toby a note. Oh, wait, it was Toby. You sent Rich a note. I didn't get a note after watching this episode. I feel a little left out. I'm insulted.
Sorry.
When is this over? When are we done?
Got lost in the Atlantic, mate.
It would have taken the email too long to get to you.
The pigeons get tired doing that run.
Hedwig.
Yeah. So I am. Now the reason is actually because of the numbers. So season 6 of Next Gen, right, was my second, which had 73%, okay, of all the episodes that I liked. So Deep Space Nine, season 4, is 73% as well. Season 5 is 76%. Season 6 is 80%.
Oh, you're not throwing all...
Season 7 is 84%.
Oh, my God. If you're putting seasons 4
to 7 of Deep Space Nine.
Oh, this is bullshit.
My number one.
Says the man who called a movie an episode, but go on.
Hey, it just said tearjerkers. It didn't say tearjerker episodes.
And so, as a facet of basically, I thought my list is going to be boring if I literally sit there and roll off 4 seasons of Deep Space Nine.
What are you discounting now?
What do you
If they're taking your top 4 spots, what's getting cut from your list?
If they go to my top 4 spots, you lose Picard, Voyager, and 2 seasons of Next Gen.
Okay, listeners, that's what's happened.
No, they know the
Ignore
truth.
the first third of
They know
this-
the truth because there is a reason.
of this episode.
There is a reason, which is there is more serialization in these 4 seasons than there had previously ever been in Star Trek. And that's what I think the reason that season 7... See, I don't think season 7 is the best season of Deep Space Nine. I agree that it's season 6. But it's got the highest percentage because it was all reaching fruition. It was all building. And I find it hard to separate them. I love all 4 of them, and they feel most cohesive piece of storytelling across all of Star Trek. And I stand by that still, even with the serialized ones, basically, because I think it has the, again, a Star Trek pun by accident, the best of both worlds. That it has both. If I had to go with my heart only, I'd probably say season 4 of Deep Space Nine. But then I don't know if it's number 1. I know it's a cop-out. I know it's a tie that blows all of Ian's ties out of the water, although I think he still has had one tie which was like 6 or 7 thing. But yes, so my favourite season, with the S in parentheses.
You might as well just say my favourite series.
My favourite series is Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I don't accept this. Sorry.
No, clearly, you can't see, but there's a genuine... we often do joke, anger, or indignation. There's a genuine tremble to Toby's beard.
It's a hatred.
Oh, there you go.
No, for you,
this.
I believe.
But don't blame them. Yeah, don't blame the messenger, because all I'm doing is responding to episode after episode of ties from Ian, and I thought, you know what, I've earned this. I don't know how to just choose.
To me,
this.
it's like, oh, what's your favourite Star Trek movie? Oh, I like all of them. They're all in number 1.
Well, I like 2, 3, and 4. You know that.
Yeah, I know, but this the equivalent of saying that. I just nah, not having it.
Well, listeners, let us know what you think of my controversial choice of having 4 seasons of Deep Space Nine as my favourite season for this
It's
episode.
like imagine a book series.
Yeah.
And you're selecting half of the I don't know, Harry Potter. You're selecting the last 4 books of Harry Potter.
It would be books 2, 3, and 4.
Okay. I've never read it.
The smile, the fixed smile on Ian's face is amusing me. No, I genuinely think it is an atypical set of seasons within Star Trek, and it sits. The cumulative storytelling is so significant enough that when I was faced with an undeniable mathematical deluge of Deep Space Nine being the top 4, Tobes, for you to rationalise it, if you want to cope with this to restore our friendship by doing the alternate version of my list where you drop those other 4 seasons off, by all means.
That's exactly what I've done.
Well, but that's fine.
And
But
I will be posting that on the Facebook page.
As I said, listeners, let us know what you
Rich's
think.
real list is this.
No, it's not. Those 4 seasons of Deep Space Nine remain.
It doesn't matter whether you're genuine or not. It's not acceptable. I'm sorry.
I have to agree with Toby on this. I just don't. You hear me being politely quiet, but
then you have a veto on any ties for the next 3 episodes.
Who, me or Ian?
Ian.
All right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I look. I'm the king of ties, right? There's no question about it. But they're 4 different diverse seasons. They're not 4 parts of one season. I just can't justify what you did there, but it's fine. It's fine.
I may have suspected.
It's your Kobayashi Maru, is what that is.
Yeah, it is. I may have suspected that reprogramming the simulation so it's possible to have 4 seasons as one was going to be controversial. So, all
right, my number 1. Now, I found myself kept wanting to throw in Strange New Worlds somewhere in there, whether it was season 1 or 2, on my list at all. Toby's looking at me like, are you going to name this number 1? No. I am not.
Okay. No, it's not.
It would be number 8. I just don't know if number 8 would be season 1 or 2.
Yeah, it was a runner-up for me too.
To be
Season
honest
1
with
for
you,
me.
I might lean towards season 1 just because I think it was you, Rich, who said it. It was that breath of fresh air that Star Trek needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I thought season 2 took even bigger swings, missed a number of times for the record, but I thought it was I thought the big swings that were successful were grand slams. So I kind of appreciated what they tried to do there. But my number 1 is TOS season 2. It's just, again, where everything built out of that into the future of Star Trek. Kirk and Spock still resonates across pretty much everything. Even if they don't discuss it in whatever show, it somehow affects, every relationship is compared by fans to Kirk and Spock, to the triumvirate of Kirk, Spock, McCoy. You know, we always say we wanted to see more of the supporting characters because we simply didn't get enough. But we got Chekhov in season 2, which I thought was, you know, obviously important. We got Klingons and Romulan introductions in season 2, which of course have carried over into everything in Star Trek. But I want to get to the key point there, which was the Klingons were introduced and they were great. The Romulans were introduced and they were great. So it's not just, hey, they were introduced and they were developed later on. They were introduced and developed in season 2. And I think that's an important distinction. And then I think one of you threw out the list of episodes. You're talking Doomsday Machine, Mirror Mirror, Mock Time, Tribbles, Journey to Babel, Assignment to Earth, A Piece of the Action, on and on with terrific episodes. Again, Deep Space Nine is my favorite series. Original series might have been if more love was paid to season 3 and if there were more seasons of it. There's just more to love about Deep Space Nine because it had the 7 seasons, and for the most part,
amazing seasons.
Right, I'd say 5.5 of them. You know, I'd say 4 were great, and 5.5, if you averaged it out. Season 1 had a lot of problems, but a great premise. Season 2 had too many misfires, but after that, when it found its footing, it never lifted the foot off the gas.
From the episode Jem'Hadar onwards, I remember feeling like it. That was
yeah, it always gets me in trouble that Deep Space Nine is my favorite. People are often surprised by it. But in terms of favorite season of any series, I've got to go with TOS.
But we're all agreed, right? The best Star Trek series is Deep Space Nine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We all think that. Yeah.
So
it's interesting that you consider that to be controversial still.
Among fans, it may be controversial.
Yeah.
I think a lot of fans prefer Next Generation over Deep Space Nine, or the original series over Deep Space Nine.
I don't know if I've said this on the pod. I think I may have, but if I have, it still probably bears repetition. It's the only one Deep Space Nine is the only Star Trek series that my youngest daughter, who doesn't like Star Trek in general, liked. She watched all of it, and I think that tells you a lot.
Yeah.
She's got a dark side.
Yeah. Well, you know. It's the
midichlorians in her.
Yeah, she's just got flamey, glowy eyes sometimes, give me a little. So, Toby.
For me, the number 1 spot goes to the original series, season 1. I think it's Star Trek at its very best. It's got so many bangers in it for me. It starts off a little bit rough. But by the time we get to What a Little Girl's Made Of, which is episode 6 or 7, I think every episode that follows is either good or great. And it contains some of my absolute favourites. Devil in the Dark. We've spoken about it before. It's possibly my favourite episode of Star Trek. Lots of other ones. Ian's already mentioned them. I'd like to give a shout out to a couple of episodes which we've not really spoken about. We talked about Operation Annihilate, and very briefly, but that was one which is again imprinted in my mind as seeing it as a kid, and I did find it scary. It's kind of like a bit ridiculous looking at some of it now.
But at the time,
at the time it was really, really impactful and strong. Galileo 7, I loved that episode.
Yeah, me too.
We've never really spoken about that one before,
That's
and
a good
it's a really strong episode. I really like Errand of Mercy as well.
No, I like Errand of Mercy.
Obviously, we've mentioned City on the Edge of Forever quite a lot, and Space Seed, and also the Menagerie, which I saw before seeing The Cage, and maybe that's the reason why I think when we were ranking it, the pilot episodes,
I
talked
saw The
about
Cage
the Menagerie.
Yeah,
I think the Menagerie is a really strong development of that story, and because it's got the characters that I love in it, in terms of Kirk and Spock, it sticks stronger in my mind. But the Corbinite maneuver as well, there's just lots of ones which just sort of leap into my mind straight away. Balance of Terror, Squire of Gothos, which we've talked about. It's just a really fun episode.
It's an embarrassment of riches when you actually start to break it down.
There are some problematic stuff in there, just because of the time that it was made. I understand that, but if I'm going to show any season of Star Trek to someone, or if I'm going to suggest someone start watching Star Trek, I would always say go back to the original series, season 1.
Oh, I wouldn't.
I fully respect that. I just, for whatever reason, go with my other choice.
No, I love season 2.
It was much higher on my list than I thought it would be. Simply because once you got to it, once you look at it, and you look at those episodes, and the quality of them.
Yeah. What do you make? 37%? Did you say?
No. Well, no. Season 2. Season 1 got like 62%.
Never ever do this stupid math thing again, please. Ever go with your heart, not your brain.
And I think that is exactly what I did with
brain.
this.
Yeah, pretty much. Except you didn't get it back because you still did this. Yeah, no, it's really interesting that the original series is the foundation for everything that followed, but it's also still remarkably strong for most of its episodes individually as well.
Oh, the writing is brilliant.
Yeah.
And like so much of it, like the thematic elements are just as relevant today as they were back in the 60s.
Well, let's also remember that they hired some of the best science fiction writers in the game in the 1960s to write these episodes. So, good writers are going to write good episodes, or in this case, great writers are going to, in some cases, write great episodes. And then the actors ran with it, and the directors got the performances out of the actors, and, on down the line. And considering, look what we're talking about. The budgets on these episodes were nothing compared to what we can do today. You don't need multi-million dollar fancy special effects if you got a good story to tell.
And I think a lot of people like modern audience would probably criticize like the acting and that it is OTT in several places. But
what do you mean?
But what we're going back to there, the strength of the stories, and I don't think it's a slow thing. I think you kind of fall in love with the main characters straight away, and it's interesting that even the side characters, the disappointment is that we didn't get more of the stories about them.
I always think it's sad that we don't get that Rand was sort of jettisoned.
Yeah. By the way, I want to mention season 2. I also thought one of the key characters that really took precedence in season 2 was the Enterprise herself.
Yeah.
Season 1, it was the ship. Season 2, it was Kirk's baby.
Yeah.
In many ways, and
it's his wife essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, right. His love
his
is
lover.
His love is for the ship more than any beautiful lady running around. That always, and that carried so much. We were talking about the ship going down in Star Trek 3, right?
Oh, so sad.
But it earned that really starting in season 2 of the original series.
Yeah, that is true. And that's what facilitated some of my favorite parts of motion picture, where that's sort of the ultimate realization of that, isn't it? That sort of sense of it. But
you mean that long, boring scene where they follow the ship
every time
in dock?
And the other thing that I wanted to say is that if we ever get to talking about the designs, you know, whether it's costumes or props or sets, I know that the original series is going to be really high up in my list because that's immediately where I go. You know, I think about the phaser or the tricorder. I think of the original series. I don't think of any of the others that have followed since.
Well, movies for me, which are variations on that theme, but it is the movies. You know, that was as I said before, that was the hardest obstacle for me going back to the original series. I was going to ask you though, what do you guys feel about watching the episodes with the new special effects in? Have you done that?
I don't mind. I actually generally don't mind it. I haven't watched all of them, but when I dive back into watching episodes for this as reminders, they are really noticeable.
I think they help me, you see, for that reason, which is that it's not that the special effects. I mean, I'm fine. I'm good at contextual viewing normally, but just having slightly better effects opens me up to just accepting just the writing, everything else. It's a superficial thing. I know that, but it just smooths it out.
I mean, I've always been one for, you know, I would love to see models rather than CG. Mm-hmm. I always go that way, but I don't find them objectionable. Put it that way.
Well, they worked hard to make them match, didn't they?
They did. Look, you know, the Okudas had a lot to do with that, and there was a lot of beautiful work done on those episodes to upgrade the visuals. I am glad they exist, but I'm more happy that the original versions exist. Because if you're introducing somebody new to Star Trek, I have an issue with the newer versions of them, simply because you have to have the context of how inventive and how creative and how with nothing they created the visual effects back in the day.
Yep, it's the same reason that I'm going to pay money to go and see the
Star
original
Wars?
1977 Star Wars in Feb.
Right.
Because you know what? Yep, and I'll drag my daughters because I'm like, you've not seen it like this. You've been unable to see it like this. So this is what I saw.
So I understand the reasoning for both, but I think it's important for people not to lose sight of how important the original on any of this. This isn't just Star Trek. This is anything. I don't think you want to lose sight of what the original did and meant, because it inspired the next generation, no pun intended, of special effects artists.
Yeah. But then,
who then took it to the next level.
We talked about the motion picture, and I think the latest version of that is what I would tell people to watch, though.
I totally agree. It's a better movie.
And that's got better, and the effects help that.
Yeah, but it's also better edited and put together.
No, I mean, I know there's more to it than that, but there is that the realization of some of the shots which were never done, like the Vija stuff, coalesces the story. It actually helps the story.
Agreed.
So I think it's interesting. It's an interesting ongoing debate.
But Greedo shot first. Oh wait, different.
there was the most jarring I've had with the new effects was watching a mock time and them replacing the matte image of Vulcan, and the arena where they fight is like on this edifice of rock, and that's been one of the few times when I've gone ooh at the effect. Maybe just because I wasn't expecting them to. I knew they'd done a lot of the kind of like in orbit and space shots, but that wasn't
the landscapes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, they did some tidying up on Next Gen for some of it as well. Subsequently, it's a bit sneakier on the Blu-ray of Next Gen, but it's.
I'll be honest. Watching DS9 episodes on Netflix is a bit rough.
Yeah,
the quality.
I really wish they would improve it. I really wish they would.
I'm gonna have to invest in home end copies.
Yeah. Again, that was the darkness of the sets.
They haven't fully restored it.
Yeah,
and it's a crying shame. It really should be. Well, on that note, that was our roundup of our favourite 7 seasons of Star Trek, or more in my case. Admittedly, I take that one on the chin, and I will never do it again. Vulcan said I did Scouts Honor, but I did.
You did the Scouts Honor, yeah.
And then I went to Spock's. Said the thing, equally.
Also, we didn't mention this the last episode, but if you have an idea for a topic for us to cover in the pod, let us know.
So again, if yes, I agree with Toby. Let us know if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, any themes, or just any comments you have about things. And just drop us a line, and we will respond. And other than that, we will see you next episode, Beyond the Final Frontier.
Peace, love, and logic, everybody.
Ta-ra a bit.
Thanks for listening to Beyond the Final Frontier, a Star Trek podcast with Rich Matthews, Ian Spelling, and Toby Weidman. If you want to get in contact with us, you can email us on beyondffpod@gmail.com or check us out on social media. You can even join our Patreon at BFF Beyond the Final Frontier. Huge thanks go out to Alex Weidman for the brilliant original music. Please search Alex Weidman Composer on YouTube to hear the full fantastic theme and more. Also thanks goes to award-winning voiceover artist Cissy Jones for our excellent opening monologue. Find out more about her incredible work at cissyjones.com. And of course, last but not least, our brilliant artwork comes from the designer Russell Seal. Discover more of his work on behance.net/Russell Seal. Thanks again, and see you next episode, Beyond the Final Frontier.